Joining us now to discuss, is Paul Vaughn, the pro-life advocate, persecuted by Biden's DOJ, as we've been talking about, and his lawyer, Steve Crampton, senior counsel with the Thomas More Society. Now, thank you both for being here tonight. Paul, I do want to say also a special thank you, because I know it can't be easy given what we just heard from the court earlier this week, but I do want to give you a special thank you because, it's one thing for me to talk a good game, right, from behind a screen, talking about the pro-life community and all of this, but you actually live it. You walk the walk, not just talk the talk. And of course, now the Biden regime is doing what they're going to do because of that. But I do want to give you that special thank you. Now, with both of you here tonight, Steve, let me ask you this, because I want to understand this now from a legal perspective. You have your client here, Paul. He was at a very peaceful, life-affirming event about 20 miles outside of Nashville, outside an abortion mill. That's all he did. They were singing hymns, they were praying, that's all. But the Biden administration wants us to believe, his DOJ wants us to believe, that his actions were felony conspiracy against rights. How does that work? Was there a fair trial here? How in the world did the feds get away with this in court?
Well, great question, Kira. Look, we had a jury that really was mostly of our peers. They were Middle Tennesseans. Many of them had identified as leaning at least pro-life. Of course, federal law, very strict rules governing the jury instructions, what evidence can and cannot come in, and so forth. So in one sense, we had a fair trial. The judge did her best, I think. But on the other hand, to tell the whole story, you just can't do it. For example, it was not permitted for the jury to hear anything about the fact that Biden's FBI showed up at Paul's door a year and a half after the event with guns drawn, banging on his door, arresting him at gunpoint, and holding his children at bay all the while for a peaceful, nonviolent sit-in event, as you point out. So there is an element here where there was some law followed in the jury trial and in the procedures. But on the other hand, as you point out, even including a charge for felony conspiracy to commit a mild misdemeanor is itself absurd. It is beyond the pale, and there's nothing just about it.
No, you're so right. It's evil is what it is. So for Paul, when you were at this event, and then afterward, was it ever anywhere in your mind conceivably that this could happen to you? Or did all of this explode really after Roe fell in the summer of 2022? And then, of course, that's when the Biden DOJ decides to, let's start snooping around, right, for little cases against pro-lifers, and let's turn them up into something huge. Let's make mountains out of molehills. Let's make examples of these people. Let's throw them away in prison forever, throw away the key. But at the time, though, back in March of 2021, did anything like this ever cross your mind that the Biden's DOJ could do this to you guys?
Never in a million years. I mean, we did sidewalk counseling. We've been in the pro-life movement for decades. We know the rules. We know how this works. We're very careful in our ministry to stay within the lines, as it were, literally the sidewalk lines usually. And even on that day, I have extra evidence to present. I have a 2-year-old that was due that week. And we were even questionable whether even to come that day because we were afraid we might be going in labor the night before. And so, there was nothing in my mind other than just showing up, ministering to people, moms seeking abortions, trying to reach out to them and give them that last chance hope for something better than killing their child. And that's all we intended to do. That's all we did that day. And had a great time talking to the police, ministering to them, and talking about the civil magistrate and their roles before God and their duties, and just working together, in the hallway, and ultimately, brought to a peaceful resolution. Some people were arrested for criminal trespass, which ultimately was dismissed at the local court. And then a year and a half later, as you say, the Biden regime just rains down in retaliation for the overturn of Roe.